Good morning, Facebook Live world. I am waiting for my phone to go live on Instagram, but it's check connection. Not sure what's happening. Ah, perfect. Good morning. I hope you're well. Thank you so much for joining me. I felt today to share a little bit about Kundalini, which is one of our energy systems. It's part of our human technology, a very important part of our human technology. And I spend a lot of time on my teacher training programs, my online courses, speaking to and teaching on Kundalini energy. And I teach Kundalini in a holistic way. So for me, it doesn't make sense for me to talk about Kundalini energy, Kundalini system, or energy in general without speaking about the wider connections to our human technology, to our mind, our body, and spirit. Because innately, Kundalini energy is what connects all of these technologies, connects the levels of mind, body, spirit, connects and anchors our physical body, our human technology into this reality, into this dimension, and that forms the foundation of our functioning and our expansion, as well as connects us to the other realms and other dimensions that we have the ability as humans to tap into. It is a fundamental part of our technology. Thank you, my darling. So it's one thing that I learned in my naturopathy studies is that when we look at things in isolation, we look at one system on its own, the immune system, and then we look at the digestive system. When we do that, we don't really appreciate the connections, the wider connections with the rest of the system, and the implications and the consequences that something happening over here has somewhere else. And that's also part of the reason behind why working holistically is, for me, the only way that I would want to work. This sentiment, this idea, can be applied to this macro level of the physical body, of thinking about how if something's happening somewhere to some little part of the body, that there are wider connections to other parts of the body that help to form, that help us to understand how we can heal. We can also see that idea on a macro level. So on a level of, say, for example, the home, something in the home is off balance, somewhere in the home, maybe in the kitchen, and it has an impact on somewhere else, on the energy somewhere else in the house. We can see that in terms of a community or a society where there's something going on, in balance, maybe a high amount of crime in one part of the city, and that has a knock-on effect to people and places in other parts of that society and other parts of that broader location. All our energy is connected, and it's really important that we see that as we move forward as a society, that there are broader connections that all bring us back to like that little one thing that we might be looking at. So I also want to link our Kundalini energy system of the human body and technology with this new world that we are creating. I keep pulling the same cards. So I do card readings, and I'm a channel. I get a lot of wisdom coming in, and I've got my ear to the ground. I get entities and animal spirits, and I kind of put all of this together, and I get a sense of what's going on, and I keep getting this confirmation through the cards that we are creating a new reality, that as we're all peacefully sitting in our homes, thinking that we've been quarantined, thinking that it's been done to us, our higher selves are secretly chuckling away, because actually we are sovereign beings, and there is an element of choice that we have and free will that we have, that we are taking, that is there to be taken. There are all these layers of smoke and mirrors that lead us to believe that we are less powerful than we are. But actually, we've made a choice, all of us together with our consciousness, to create this reality that we're in, to create this COVID situation. We've made a choice to be in our homes and to nurture ourselves, to school our children, to tend to our gardens, grow our own food, think more mindfully about how we eat, step up at the way that we tend to our bodies, exercising and so on. We've made a choice to do all of that. And I'm just going to shut my door because it keeps banging. We've got all the... We've got drafts coming through the house because we've got all the windows and doors opened. So we are collectively creating this new reality together. We're weaving it. We are sitting at home and having more and more conversations with our family, with our peers, about this new situation and about the new way that we're carving for ourselves. And a couple of days ago, I pulled this very poignant card called Earth School from my Starseed Oracle deck. It's a beautiful cards. It's very angelic. I absolutely love these cards. And what's really, there's so many layers to this. First of all, my husband and I created the Earth Clinic several years ago, which is where we share our therapies and our coaching packages and our teacher training programs. And we've just created the Earth School, which is the arm that all of our, our training program, teacher training programs are going to sit under. So it was like, wow, I pulled that card, and it was on a day that we were doing a lot of strategy work. We've really been developing the Earth School in these times because it's just where we're at. And the Earth School talks about planet Earth being a great initiation for the soul, and the journey that many of us find ourselves on is of soul expansion. And that we come here to planet Earth because it's an amazing, beautiful training ground to come in to do this work. So on planet Earth, there are like the kind of harsh extremes, shall we say, the realities of planet Earth. On one end, you have the harsh realities of the pain and suffering that humans go through, and on the other end, we have this capacity for unconditional love and bliss and joy. And that, this is very much what we are here to experience, this full spectrum, this duality, because from this duality, from the resistance that arises from being able to experience duality, comes our ability to see and to perceive and to feel into what is there to be worked on and to be healed. So we can see the dark from the light. We can see the good from the bad. And this helps us to understand what's there for us to work on. And so Earth School is reminding us that we've all chosen to incarnate at this time. We've chosen on some level to be alive at this time and to be a part of this whole experience. And for some of us, maybe it's a witnessing, maybe just being here and witnessing what's going on is enough to really awaken us to the different aspects of being human and evolve from that. And for some of us, we've chosen to be here at this time because we are participating in it. And actually, we're all participating in it on some level. At the very least, our consciousness comes together with everyone else's consciousness. And, we have this collective psyche, this collective consciousness that we are all energetically tapped into. And that energy is so powerful, and it creates momentum, and it drives forward the reality that we are living in. So if we want to create a new reality, if we say, enough is enough, I want to create this world that I desire and I know others desire, and that I think it's time where our consciousness is there, then we can do that by imagining that world, by bringing it into our reality, by collapsing into that reality, simply by clear intentions and then embodying those ideas, those sentiments, those feeling states, by choosing to be in those feeling states, by being in those thought patterns, by being in those beautiful imaginations and projections. That's how we create from that place of projecting the beauty, projecting the unity, projecting that energy, and then nature will reflect that back to us. If what we're projecting is like, oh, we need it, we want it, I'm not sure, I don't think we can do it, we're not at that stage yet, or there's just I'm so afraid, we're so afraid, there's so much fear. If that's what we're projecting, that's what collectively we are creating. That's what we are pulling into our reality. It is as clear to me as I am sitting here in front and viewing what I'm viewing. It's so clear as day to me that this is how the human experience fundamentally is unfolding, is through our creational capacity. So coming back to energy and Kundalini, why this preamble? Because this Kundalini system is very much the driving factor for creating the new way. Ultimately, it's our own individual consciousness, our own individual thought processes and projections that are going to create this new reality. And in order for those projections to be really pure and really beautiful and really imagined and joyous, for us to be able to create those projections, we've got to create like a stability and a knowing and a trusting and a confidence and courage within us, within ourselves, within our whole system. And this requires practice, and this requires dedication and devotion to ourselves on an individual level. And then from that individual level, we can create together. We can then share that with others. It all starts here. We are a seed that is planted in the cosmos, that through our own nurturing, watering and feeding and love, and through the environment that we place ourselves in, and again that we nurture around us, the seed that is us grows, germinates and grows and starts to shoot little stalks and little leaves, and then a beautiful flower starts to blossom, like the transcendental lotus, rising from the mud to create this beautiful lotus that is transcending that mud, transcending that muck, and rising from it to shine its beauty and share that with the world. And that is exactly what we can do, and our energy system fuels that. So our Kundalini energy system is, the Kundalini energy itself is a potential energy, an infinite potential energy that rises from the base of the spine, from the root or the Muladhara chakra. And this root is very much connected to the earth. The root is the earth. And this energy is like this infinite energy coming into our system that is constantly rising up the system, rising up the spinal fluid, and going all the way up to the third eye, and then the crown. And the crown is like our connection to the cosmos, our connection to our higher self, to the spiritual realms, the other realms. And so this energy comes all the way up and goes up here. And we have the chakras, which are the main energy centers of the body. So I'm just going to talk about 7 of them today. That from the root, we have one at the sacral. So the root is like a red color also. The sacral is under our belly button and it's an orange color. We have the Manipura, which is the solar plexus. So the sacral is the Swadhisthana. The Manipura is the solar plexus. It's our inner sun, and it's kind of here in between the bottom of our ribs, above our belly button. And then we have the Anahata, the heart chakra, and it's green. And we have the throat, light blue, Vishuddha chakra. The third eye, which is the Agya chakra, and that's like an indigo color. And then we have the crown, which is the Seshadha, and that's like a white or ultraviolet light color. And the colors relate to the different frequencies that they vibrate. And these chakras are energy centers because we have a lot of organs. We have the endocrine system and other organs of our body that are concentrated in these areas. And the collective energy of those to create the energetic vibrations at these chakra centers. And also we have different emotional associations with these chakras that also related to the different energy layers or auric fields of our body. And what we find is that when the different chakras are out of balance and the emotions that are connected with those are out of balance, we find that the physical organs in those areas also start to come out of balance. So we're starting to see that there are lots of layers and lots of connections. The fundamental connection are the kind of intrinsic functions, metaphysical functions of these particular energy centers. So the root is very much connected to our sense of belonging and rootedness and purpose and place here on planet Earth. It's our rootedness into the earth. It's our stability. It's where the foundations of our stability come from. So our fears are very much live here. And so when we have a lot of fear, we tend to really feel it in our root. And also we tend to want to do a lot of this root work. And it's really fundamental as humans, actually, because this fear response is like an innate first default setting of a human being. When something has destabilized us, or we experience something that was like, was unpleasant, didn't feel good, was traumatic, then we start to develop these fears around that particular, some of the things that are surrounding that. And those fears sit at our root. So it's this very like fundamental connection that we have to the earth. You know, it's our primal response, is our fear response. So that sits right at the root. And then our sacral is where a lot of our wounding, our trauma, and our karma from past lives, the ancestral life, and this life also sits at our sacral. And we also have our manifestational portal of the womb here, and for men, the unmanifested womb. And then the solar plexus is where a lot of our stress, worry, anxiety kind of sits, that we pick up more in the short term. And if we don't address that every day, every week, every month, then that starts to really drop down the system. So this is what we call the lower triangle. And what we do with the Kundalini is as we activate the Kundalini energy, which is drawing the energy in from the base and bringing it up the system, we start to unblock the lower triangle. We start to work on the energy that's stored, the fears, the trauma and karma, and the stress, worry, and anxiety. And as we start to work on this, it starts to unblock, and we start to be able to let go of and shed these energies. And as that happens, more energy is able to rise up the system and activate the upper triangle, the upper chakras. So the heart, the throat, the third eye, and the crown are activators. And when we activate these points, then the metaphysical nature and associations of these points are able to activate more. So for example, with our heart center, our compassion, our courage, our creativity, our playfulness and joyfulness, our kindness, that can be activated further. With the throat, our communication, our ability to be heard, to be seen, to be recognized, and to express ourselves, that will be activated more. Expression, our third eye, our intuition, our inner seeing, inner knowing, that will be more activated as the energy rises more. And this feeds each other. So as we work on our fears, our traumas, our stresses, we unblock this energy and more activates. This brings more energy into the system. This opens us up to more possibilities and energies that gives us the confidence and the courage and stability to go back and start working back down at the lower chakras again. So why and how is this important for creating the new reality and the new way? As we start to let go of this old energy, it no longer has an attachment, a bondage to us. We no longer default to those settings. So we are more able to stabilize into the courage and the confidence and the clarity and the compassion that's going to help us to project, to create and project the beautiful thought processes. It's going to help us to embody the feelings and sensations and the ideas of this new world that we want to create without the blockage of our fears and our doubt and our worry and our inability to be willing even to look at this. We become open and we become excited and we have the courage to step forward with others and create this new reality. So for me, again, coming back to what I was talking about at the beginning, I can't talk about creating a new reality or creating a new way without talking about what we can do or what we are doing on an individual level with our own mind, our own body, our own spirit, to activate the technologies of mind and body, is to recognize our place, our role, and to say to the universe, like, I'm going to plug out of the old weird system and programs, and I'm going to plug into this new way. So many of us talk about this new way as being like, it's here right now in this moment. We don't need to become more anything or have more of anything for us to create a beautiful reality that is more aligned to love and compassion, and that is not aligned to the agendas of the misguided ones. It's already happening. It's just happening parallel to the kind of old way of seeing and doing things. It's all about perception. If we don't do our work and we let this old stagnant energy sit in us and stagnate us, then we are just going to see from our old way, from the old lenses. We're going to see from that place of fear and trauma and karma and worry and anxiety and stress. We're going to see from those lenses. Yet if we clear that and we shift our perspective, then we're going to see from this new place of love and compassion, and we're going to see our potential, and we're going to see the possibilities of what we can create and how we can create. And the fears that would cause us to say, that's not for me. No, I don't think I can. It's just easier for me to get on with what I'm doing and stay quiet and just be happy. The fears that were creating that within us that were preventing us from saying, you know what, I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to do it. I'm going to live the life I've always dreamed of, or I'm going to do this in a different way. Those are the fundamental fears that are stored right down at the bottom of our energy system, that our Kundalini energy is ready and is waiting to burn through. So, where do we do this? How do we do this? Where do we begin? Our beginning is by recognizing what we are, and by making a commitment, by doing whatever work we need to do, by addressing the fears that we need to address, the doubt that we need to address, in order to be willing to start to activate ourselves. That's where we start. What is it that's preventing you from being willing to activate yourself? What are the fundamental fears and doubts that you have, that you carry, that's telling you that this is all nonsense, or that this healing isn't for you, or none of this makes sense, or we don't have enough of whatever, or we're not in the right, or whatever it is? What is it that's preventing you from being willing to dedicate time and effort and energy and devote that to yourself? What is it that is stopping or preventing you from being willing to activate as a human? And that's where you start, and you seek help from me or from the millions of therapists and yoga teachers and light workers out there that are just waiting for you to reach out and to share with us what your key blockage is. And that's where we start. That's what we work on. And then from there, the magic continues. We are then able to tap into a bit of energy that's going to hold us accountable, that's going to drive us, that's going to keep us committed to practicing every day. And then we develop a practice, and that practice consists of energy practices that work on our Kundalini energy, that work on our innate self-healing technologies. And this all starts to loosen the system up and empower the system for us to do the deeper work on the mind, body, and spirit. So thank you so much for joining me, for choosing to watch this transmission later on. Thank you to all you beautiful people on Facebook and on Instagram that have joined. I hope you have a really beautiful day. It's another beautiful day here in Manchester that I'm about to go out and practice some pranayama and kriya, Himalayan Kundalini and Hatha. Be in nature, be in my garden, plant some seeds within and external seeds in the garden. And I hope that we connect soon. My husband and I released a free online course called Protect Your Mind, Body and Energy Fields. So you can find that on my page. You can find that on the links in my bio on Instagram. And we have also launched an amazing course for practitioners, light workers, teachers, youth workers, community workers, called Holistic Medicine Practitioner Training, which we'll be sharing more about, but the link's also in my bio and on my Facebook page. So have a beautiful day, and I will see you soon. Bye.